As studies come out on the dangerous chemicals in bottled water, more and more people are drinking what comes out of their faucets. As Sonoma County residents, chances are if you drink tap water, this is the source of the liquid you are consuming. The Sonoma County Water Agency is tucked between the Charles M. Schultz Airport and the airport cinemas, and is not really a destination highlight of the area. But with the proposal to add fluoride to the county's water supply, the water agency is soon to be a place everyone is talking about. In February of this year, the Board of Supervisors unanimously backed the further study and financial analysis of water fluoridation as a means to fight the dental crisis in Sonoma County. Regarded as the single most effective public health measure to prevent dental decay by the American Dental Association, water fluoridation is the practice of adding fluoride compounds to public water supplies for the purpose of reducing tooth decay. But several people believe water fluoridation raises further health concerns and environmental implications and is not in the best interests of Sonoma County. As the water fluoridation debate begins to build momentum, it is time to get to know both sides of the issue.
Hi, my name is Lynn Silver Chalfin, and I'm the County Health Officer for Sonoma County. That means my job is to protect public health in the county. I'm a pediatrician by training, and I was surprised when I came out here last year to start my job that one of the things people told me was one of the most serious health problems for county residents was dental problems and untreated dental decay, lack of access to dental care. And one of the contributors to that problem was the fact that Sonoma County water in general was still not fluoridated, with the exception of Healdsburg. So I was asked to follow up on some work that had begun on this issue earlier. So basically what we're trying to do is improve the oral health of people in the county, which is not good. About half of kids have tooth decay. That goes up to 2/3 in lower income or Latino children. A very significant portion of them have untreated decay or need urgent care. And we can speak similarly about adults as well in the county, many of whom are having great difficulty accessing dental care. So part of what's been going on is a multifaceted effort to improve oral health in the county. That includes increasing access to dental care by building additional clinic space and trying to get more people to care, particularly for low-income patients. Increasing prevention by increasing programs that apply fluoride varnishes and sealants in children. We're launching an education campaign later this year on this issue and trying to expand education. And lastly, but very importantly, looking at the issue of fluoridating the water supply. 3/4 of Americans who get public water have fluoridated water. About 58% of Californians also have fluoridated water. Sonoma County has lagged way behind on this issue. California law establishes that communities that have more than 10,000 water connections should fluoridate their water supply, but that hasn't happened yet in our larger towns. So what is underway right now is a discussion about whether, and if so, how we could best move forward on fluoridating the water supply for county residents. And that would appear to be probably through fluoridating the Sonoma County Water Agency, which is the wholesale water supplier to much of this region. I feel like fluoridation is something that's been studied for over 50 years and is in extremely widespread use across the country and in 25 other countries. And it's been found to be effective and safe. There's a great deal of literature about it, ranging over more than half a century. It reduces tooth decay. It used to be by 50 or 60%, but as fluoride toothpaste and other products came in, it still reduces it by about 25 or 30% in kids and in adults. It's inexpensive. It costs about $1 per person per year to fluoridate the water. A single cavity can cost you a couple $100 to fill. It's been shown to save about $38 for every dollar spent on fluoridation, and much of that saving is from the pockets of families who are going into debt to pay for dental care or getting teeth extracted because they can't pay for a root canal, or walking around with untreated abscesses in their mouth because they can't afford or get a dentist, and that's just not acceptable. There is just a lot of evidence around safety that's been pretty widely evaluated. You'll hear people raising all kinds of myths as well about how fluoridation is going to poison them or cause cancer or do horrible things. This is basically science being taken out of context, and there's a lot of that in the world that people should be aware of. So fluoride is like salt or even oxygen. None of it's not good for you. If you don't get any oxygen, you'll die. If you don't get any salt, you'll die. Fluoride, you won't die, but your teeth won't be very good. You need a little bit of it. Way too much of it is toxic, so it's a substance that in great excess is bad for you. Oxygen is also bad for you in great excess. Vitamin A can kill you if you take too much of it. And fluoride in great excess is not good for you. But the Institute of Medicine also established an amount that every person should have every day to protect their teeth. So for you, it would be 4 milligrams a day, Houston. For you, Keisha, it would be about 3 milligrams a day. If you drink 8 cups of fluoridated water a day, that'll give you 1.4 milligrams of fluoride, or about a third of the way to your daily recommended dose, and about a little under half of the way to your daily recommended dose, Keisha, or mine as a woman. The maximum they recommend is 10, so it's way, way below what the maximum is recommended. It's just giving you a little nudge towards a level that'll give you more tooth protection. That level is very safe. Just to give you an idea, one of the articles people cite is from on the reasons not to fluoridate because it's a bad idea and it doesn't really work. Is from.
Have you ever heard of a thing called fluoridation? Fluoridation of water?
Yes, I have heard of that, Jack, yes. Yes.
Well, do you know what it is?
No. No, I don't know what it is now.
Do you realize that fluoridation is the most monstrously conceived and dangerous communist plot we have ever had to face?
And this is the little history on this. For about 100 years, the phosphate fertilizer industry decimated the vegetation and the cattle grazing around their plants because of the emitting into the environment 2 very toxic gases called hydrogen fluoride and silicon tetrafluoride. Eventually, they were required to put wet scrubbers, a spray of water, onto their plants to capture these gases. And what happens then is the formation of a substance called hexafluorosilicic acid, a 23% solution. Now, this stuff cannot be dumped into the sea by international law. It can't be dumped locally because it's too concentrated. But if someone buys it from them, it immediately then becomes a product. It's no longer controlled by hazardous waste regulations, and therefore can be put into the public drinking water supply. So not only, you have 2 outrages here. One is we're using the public water supply to deliver medication, which is an incredibly unusual and silly thing to do. And secondly, we're using the public water supply to get rid of hazardous waste. Now, this saves a lot of money for the phosphate fertilizer industry, but it should be an acute embarrassment to everybody else.
My name is Donna Gallagher-Stroh. I'm a nutritionist by trade. That's what I've been doing for 23 years. I have a biology degree, and I wanted to teach nutrition because I wanted to get toxins out of people. So then when the fluoride issue was promoted at the Board of Supervisor level last year, where they voted to do an engineering report, they have not voted to fluoridate, I went and spoke with Dr. Silver Chalfin several times. Here's the thing that Dr. Chalfin doesn't want you to know. The FDA, they deem fluoride an unapproved drug, and they have never approved the swallowing of fluoride. Now, the EPA, however, has never approved and can't approve the use of water for treatment of humans. So their division, called the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, does not have the authority to recommend unapproved illegal drugs. You have the promotion of a public policy versus real science that isn't for the public's health.
My name is Dr. Laura Gaeta Wilson, and I'm a dentist in Santa Rosa, California, and I've been practicing dentistry since 1986. I graduated from the University of Pacific in San Francisco. And I would be very opposed to having fluoride put in our water system here for several reasons. There are no real good studies or numbers that show that there would be a benefit from that, putting a prescription medication in our water system, the World Health Organization, WHO, has looked at countries that do fluoridate and countries that don't fluoridate, and there's no difference. So I feel that until we have more information, it would be very almost dangerous to introduce yet another chemical, because we're all exposed to so many things and we don't know how a lot of the chemicals interact with each other. So for people, for example, that have their drinking water at home that don't have filters and have chlorine in it, is that dangerous? For people that are taking other pharmaceuticals and ingesting water that contains fluoride, how do those things interact? And when we know that you can treat tooth decay in children with prescription stannous fluoride, not the proposed synthetic fluoride compound that they are suggesting. It's not stannous fluoride, it's not naturally occurring. It's hydrosalicylic acid, or HFSA. It's not what would come from granite naturally occurring stannous fluoride that we can give in a prescription that's clear that people can brush on or take as drops. So why would we treat the whole population, many people that are immune compromised, people that are on other drugs, people that don't need it, for a portion of the population that has dental decay when there's no sound evidence that it works?
My name is Lauren Ayers, and I am the chapter leader of the Weston Price Foundation Sonoma County chapter. We have 200 people, and it's a national organization, and we have 500 chapters, mostly in the U.S. We care about nutrient-dense food. Weston Price was a dentist who studied, some people call him the Darwin of nutrition. The Weston Price Foundation has a very firm stand against fluoridation. And so as our chapter leader in a county that was thinking about going that way, we all said we've got to do what we can to stop it. It's much easier to stop something than to try to get rid of it later. I'm sure that Dr. Silver Chalfin has said that this is one of the top 10 public health successes of the century. And they always say that. It's not true at all. I'm sure that she said something like that it's preventative medicine, the way that if you take vitamins that you'll be safer. But there is no need for fluoride. It's not one of your daily recommended nutrients. In fact, it is just as toxic as arsenic and lead, and there's certainly no need for those every day. So that's just false. She might have said that for every dollar you invest, there's $38 in savings. We can't find the source for that number, and it doesn't make sense. If they would give kids xylitol mints, they would save their more decay with that than if they do the fluoride, and they wouldn't be mass treating everybody. They would just be giving the mints to the kids at school like they're doing in Kansas City.